Day 15, and it's going to be a great day. Live from Pine Top, Arizona, it's that painting show starring the color queen.
I think it's day 16.
What did I say?
You said 15?
Or 16.
It is 16.
It's day 16, and what a great day. Live from Pine Top, Arizona, it's that painting show starring the color queen.
Hi folks, I'm Beth Zink. Welcome to day 16 of that painting show. Once again, I am in costume for our barn painting. You can call me Ellie Mae, call me Daisy Mae, call me anything. But anyway, before I begin, Captain John, who is today's lucky duck?
The lucky duck is Lynn from Lake Havasu.
Oh, Lynn! You know, Captain John, it's really hard for me to read. Can you help me out with that?
Well, actually, she asked, when are you going to finish that damn barn?
Good question. I promise, today, it's over. As a matter of fact, I took a shortcut. And I don't know if you were with us in the earlier segments when we did a desert landscape, but I actually did part of it and then covered it up and showed you how I got from here to there. Well, I'm going to do that again today. So, this is what I've done. This is where we're going, and this is where we are right now. I am going to begin with roughing in some color in the meadow here, just some brighter colors because that's kind of drab. And then while that's drying, I'm going to work on the barn a little bit, come back and do the flowers. Step, step, step. So, take a little flat brush here. I'm going to take some deep green, a little bit of yellow ochre, and I'm going to, or maybe even a little bit of cadmium yellow. And see how much brighter this color is? Well, I'm going to extend that color right across the little dividing line I created here, so that it just has a little more brightness. You know, I'm all about color. Color queen, get it? I'm all about color, and I think that this needs to be livened up a little bit. I'm going to move this just slightly so that I can catch the bottom of the canvas. Light, bright colors up here next to the barn. And underneath this little fence, maybe back in here. That's pretty bright. I don't know if that's going to work exactly. I might dull that down later, but we'll see. Maybe it's just, it's fun to have some bright new colors in there. And I might change it up a little bit and put in some darker ones. But I'll get to that in a minute. While this is drying, I'm going to come back and put the boards in on the barn. See how the lighter gray areas I did along here to show where the sun hit the face of the barn? I'm going to do the same thing here and show you how I managed to do that. I'm using carbon black and white to get a nice gray. These are weathered boards. And see, there wasn't much weathering here, so I'm going to go ahead and put that weathering in now. When in doubt, add a little more contrast than you normally would think you should, because the paint dries darker, and it's better to see how light that is right there. That might be gone a little crazy, but just making these barn boards all the way across here. Don't want it to be exactly the same, so I'll come back and blur some of them a little bit with a little bit darker gray. Especially an old barn, everything is weathered. You don't want it to all look exactly the same. here. This is a great big shadow, as you can see, along the roof line of the barn. Nice and crisp. Straight carbon black. I'm using a flat brush. There's a little bit of gray up in here. You can see a little bit of random light boards there. And you can see along this angle here, it's definitely lighter. Remember, you're not trying to create a photograph. You're just trying to suggest the light and the dark. Come back and just with a light brush, come back up and kind of make these strokes be a little bit more random than they were. Another thing I want to do is put in my fence line. As long as I'm using my black paint, I'm going to go ahead and put in my fences. Some fences coming along here. You know, this is just suggestions of fences. Liner brush, little tiny, lots of, you know, this is the one time you do want to use a little bit of water with your liner brush. Make your paint fluid. You're not going to be able to get a long, narrow stroke like that without having it be fluid. The paint literally has to flow off the brush. So here's a little bit of fence line coming along here. These are a little thicker. Kind of an impressionistic look, if you will. I wanted to crisp up these windows back here at the bottom of the barn. Crisp those lines up a little bit. Sharpen where it's in a geometric detail like that. You definitely want to sharpen your lines, have them be nice and crisp. It's not necessary when you're doing something organic, but when you're doing something that is it's actually architectural, you want to make sure that you have your lines nice and crisp and square. They should be square. One more thing I want to do before I start the flowers is I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of a color called Venetian red. You could also use burnt sienna. And I am going to add some nice color, some extra rusty color to this barn, because I think it's a lot prettier, and I love having, I love amping up color in anything I paint. So I'm going to put a little bit of that. I might drab it down a little bit if I got a little too crazy with it. Drab it down. Just trying to make it look like a little bit of rust. Not so brown as it was. Okay, that works.
Looking good.
Thank you. All right. My field should be dry. Yes, it is. Perfect. Now I'm going to come back with my liner brush, as you asked earlier, Captain John, about what brush I was going to use, and I take a little bit of white and put it in with my yellow to do my little flowers. Just never quit. I mean, you quit on paintings, but never quit doing what you love. How does that look?
Looking good. Is that barn door need to be any more shadow?
Well, you know, I think the horses are already out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it really black. Really black. See, I have some of my guidelines still. And crisp up every edge. How's that? Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think if I erased the chalk line, we could call it done?
I agree.
Is that roof line good? See, I could just come back over with the paint now and make all those chalk lines disappear. Or I can just take a damp paper towel and wipe away, or napkin or whatever, and just wipe it away. So now, with all the guidelines are gone, ta-da! There it is.
Beautiful. Fini.
The Michigan barn.
Fini.
So I wanted to tell you all that this summer we have painting classes in Pine Top on Tuesday afternoons, ongoing. If you happen to be in the neighborhood, you're welcome to join us. Or if you live here, that'd be great. And also, I have a workshop on July the 15th, which is a Wednesday. It's an all-day workshop. So if you live in the valley and you're getting tired of the heat and you want to come up and rent a cabin for a couple nights and come and take the workshop, we'd love to have you.
So, what's your new project?
The new project is going to be a cactus flower. What everybody wants me to do. Paint cactus flowers. So I will. Starts next segment. And we now have the pearls of wisdom. If I can get them over my beautiful Daisy May hat. There we go. Okay, today's pearls of wisdom come from Mark Twain. And he says, the two most important days of your life are the day that you are born and the day that you find out why. Kind of deep, but that's all right. It's a good one. Thanks so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you next time.